Welcome to On Second Thought. I'm John Price, and I'm here with our pastor, Jay Hackett, where every week we take a deeper dive into life at Peachtree Corners Baptist Church. Whether we're talking about the latest sermon, upcoming events, or just whatever's on Jay's mind, this is your insider look at our church, our staff, and what makes PCBC your church on the corner. So join our conversation as we help you find community, purpose, and growth. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to On Second Thought. This is episode 38. We are into a new year, 2026. We kind of tried to figure out, do we want to make this like a season 2, episode 1, or I think episode 38 won out. Let's just see how long we can get that number up before
I think we can do 40.
Before
I really feel like we've got 2 more in us before this thing ends.
Setting those high goals already in 2026.
I like to be able to accomplish things early in the year.
How was your break? Christmas, and because we took a few weeks off.
Filming. We did, and
your New Year's.
Great time with the family. I mean, really was just a lot of fun. Nobody really went crazy this Christmas. And so it was just,
crazy like family getting together.
Going
crazy,
or sometimes when it comes to Christmas, there's just like tons of stuff, and you're just like, oh my gosh, And what are we doing with all this? And we don't need it. And this year it was just kind of nice. It was like my parents gave me my grandfather's Bible, who was a pastor, and so here's a 72-year-old Bible that my grandfather used, and I told Amy, because Amy got a picture, and I said, we've reached the age where sentimental gifts mean more to us than anything in this world, and I said, we've reached the age of getting old, I guess, but it meant so much. And so it was special, and it wasn't 22 different things that we got. We got one thing, and it was like, but it was a very thoughtful thing, and it was a great Christmas. I mean, a lot of fun time with my family, and then we had fun with Amy's family and fun with our own family. It was a great time together at Christmas, and then celebrating the new year. Molly Grace and I were the only 2 that stayed up. And so, but, for 25 years, I've woke Amy up and just said, hey, Happy New Year, kissed her on the cheek. And, that was about it. And, and she's like, all right, let me go back to sleep. But how about yourself, man? What did you guys end up doing?
Well, Christmas was, we had the kids come up, and it was all over at our house, which was nice. So the kids came in and around 8:30, and we had breakfast together. Our traditional Christmas breakfast is breakfast casserole and cinnamon rolls.
Nice.
And then, so that was nice. And then April's parents came in around 11, and then we opened gifts and had just a huge meal, probably around 2:30. So that was a nice, peaceful day. And we didn't do the less gifts. I actually probably got more than normal, but a lot of it was, I think if there's a trend at all, it is, how can we make this easier? How can we decrease the stress? Because it can be a lot. And I think it was kind of getting critical mass for a lot of people, just the expectations and stuff. But when you don't center just on the gifts, it's easier to say, look, why don't, I think April's parents said, here's a certain amount. April, you do the shopping. Or in my case, I just got on Amazon and got what I wanted, said, hey, here's what you got me. And she said, here's what you got me. It made it nice and easy. But it was a very relaxing day. It was a pleasant day with family.
Awesome.
So, and then
and you had some fun over New Year's.
Yeah. This was a different one. In the past, we've always kind of like had people over and done, egg rolls and made sushi and done kind of fun stuff. But usually around 10:30, I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't like being up late, and I'm regretting life choices around midnight. But we went down to Fitzgerald, Georgia. I don't know if you would call that central or south or
middle,
south central.
It's close enough. Yeah.
Where my brother and sister-in-law came in from Stuart, Florida, on the coast. He's a pastor, and we met there. There's a couple at his church who have kind of house with like 300 acres. And so,
Nice.
yeah, we just went there to hang out, to do some hunting. And I did not grow up hunting. Never had been hunting. I've done some quail hunting, a few years back, but,
that's fun and easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, and walk around. Yeah.
Right. And these were farm raised quail, which fly a little bit slower and easier. But, so this guy's a big hunter and has, all the toys and had about 5 or 6 stands around his place that he feeds, has cameras so he can see what's in the area. And, he just kind of set us out in different areas. The first few times I went out, he sat with me and just kind of talked and, great, nice guy. But, New Year's Eve, we went out early that morning and, he let me use his favorite rifle. It was like a $16,000 rifle with a, like a $3,000-$4,000 scope and a $3,000, silencer. So there, to say, oh man, I'm this great hunter is like, he did all this prelim work and I just stepped up, pulled the trigger. So, I had a little, doe come out, and plinked it, got a great shot in where it died pretty much immediately. And 115 pounds, we sent that to the processor. Nice. So I will honor that doe by enjoying, I think I was talking to Hodham yesterday. He said, you harvested
that.
So,
yes.
And then that night went back out again, this time by myself at a stand, and he had forgotten to load my magazine. So I had 2 rounds. So I walked in, I was getting into the, so this is not, I'm painting myself in true colors here. So putting the rifle in and thought safety was on. Listen, boys and girls, always treat a rifle like it's ready to fire. And it went off. And so, fortunately didn't hit anything other than, hill brush.
You may find out you did after
2 counties over. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have 1 round left. And so I sat there for a couple hours and, sun went down. And then I saw some shadows, sighted in to where I thought might be a good shot. And it turned out to be a heart-lung shot, dropped it, 200-pound boar. And so, both those at the processor, I'll get, over 100 pounds of meat in the freezer. So I'm pretty excited about that.
We adding that to the Wednesday night meal?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Some venison.
Yeah, we've got some creative stuff this year for the menu. We were joking we were going to have a homage to you and have, for your accident, your shop accident, which your thumb is looking
it looks
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we were going to do like beef tips and little cookies made with little saw, cookie cutter things. But no, it was a great experience. I don't think I'm going to be a big hunter, but I loved the experience. The folks we met, just really enjoy them. He's like, hey man, come down anytime.
That's awesome.
He wants to get me in May to go down turkey shooting. And so it'll be fun stuff.
Yeah.
So no, we had a good time and it was a good little break from all the construction.
Yes.
I think we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel.
We are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. A few more weeks and we should be in. So,
oh my goodness. Yeah. And then it's back to the real work.
It'd be freeing for me and for you.
Yes.
And so, you won't have that full-time, part-time job that you've been having for the last 6 months of your life.
It will. I think we're going to end it at about 6 months. Yeah. So,
which is
but
crazy.
it's been a fun process. It's
really
been fun to bring, work with you and to see, and to fix things and then bring in folks like Charlie, who's been amazing. And Charlie Saylor is my right-hand guy in the workshop. And then some other folks who have come in and helped out. It's been great. Just kind of getting your house kind of looking new.
Yep.
So
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
Joking that kind of a renovation would cost most people an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
You just have a thumb.
One thumb. That's it. Yeah.
So we're fortunate on that. Lots of thumb jokes.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of them.
But
I know it's from a place of love.
It is.
So that's all good.
So we're in a new year, and kind of as we've been doing the last little bit, a new year means a new theme.
Correct.
So last year the theme was fruit. And, what does it look like to bear fruit? What are the fruit of the Spirit, and how do we understand that versus works or effort?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of celebration last year. In fact, that's one thing that we did on the 28th of December. That was a first for us, was Celebration Sunday.
Correct.
What did you think about that?
That was awesome.
That was so cool.
Todd did a fantastic job.
Yes, he did.
Putting that video together. And I probably had 15 text messages or phone calls on Sunday afternoon that goes, where can we go to watch that video?
Right.
How can we get that out there?
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Good. Okay. I was going to ask.
So, yes.
Fantastic.
And so now it is on the website. So anybody that wants to
check that out.
Kind of go back and review it, look at it again, or to share it, with somebody else, because it was just really neat. I had some friends in town that were here, and they were like, it was so cool. They go, we got the most beautiful picture of what your church is.
Yeah.
By watching that 5-6 minute video, and they were just like, it gave us a feel, a taste, and just an excitement of kind of seeing what God's been doing on this corner through this last year. And so that was so much fun. And that's going to be something I'm looking forward to, as we go forward, because this year we're actually going to be doing each series with that final Sunday in mind. And so,
yeah, Todd, and most people don't know, a lot of people don't know Todd at all, but most people don't know how talented he is and how much work that kind of stuff takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this year there wasn't a lot of stuff that we were able to give him. So, he had to search through stuff. He wrote the script, narrated the script, edited the video, just fantastic.
It was
so,
great.
And every Monday morning when we film this, it's Todd who's behind the camera, setting everything up and editing. So yeah, love Todd, and
phenomenal.
We're so grateful.
That was a great service.
Yeah,
we had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
And, and then we kind of got to share the vision of where we're headed in 26, and so this idea of gear up.
Yeah.
And, it really comes back to, there's several conversations that the pastoral staff has been having over, probably the last 3-4 months of 2025 that was just talking about little attacks, little things that were happening. And, I think sometimes as long as a church is comfortable or stagnant, that the enemy doesn't really care.
We bring enough on ourselves.
Yeah,
when we're complacent doing anything,
in circles, and they're fine.
We cause our own problems. Yeah,
exactly. And not saying we're doing anything wrong, but it's just you're not necessarily focused in on, all right, how do I grow fruit? Through the Holy Spirit in my life. How do I get more in touch with what God is doing? And so I think as we started doing that, it began to transform some hearts and lives and begin to change the outlook of people inside of our church. People started getting excited. People started inviting neighbors and getting people connected, and we're seeing more families, connected to the church. And so I'm like, all right, as we're beginning to see these things, man, the enemy's starting to kind of take notice. And so we were like, okay, so thinking about 26, how do we get prepared for that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's out of sight, out of mind. It's like, okay, I'm not really thinking about the attack, right? When things are good, they're good, and so it's like, but we need to be ready, not afraid. That's the big thing we've really been talking about throughout this series, and we're going to continue. It's not a place of fear, but it's a place of awareness and of kind of going, okay, well, hold on a second. If I know I'm up against something today, I got two choices. I can fight it on my own, which is going to be ridiculous.
Right.
Or I can fight it in the power of the Holy Spirit and kind of go, Lord, this is your battle. It's not mine. And so I'm going to trust you in this. I'm going to put on everything that you've given me to put on today and ask you to guard my heart, ask you to guard my mind, ask you to guard my steps.
Yeah.
And so just that idea of we need to be ready for battle.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I threw out the nobody goes to battle in Crocs and socks. And then I had a couple of people in the church that were wearing Crocs and socks that day came up and they were like, I don't think I'm ready for battle. and he looked at me, he goes, you looked right at me when you said that. And I was like, I did not. I swear.
It's funny to me when you were talking about when you are home watching TV, you don't put on an untucked shirt. And you're describing for you what is like dressing up.
What is dressing up?
And I was like, some people might, they might have done a little bit different of an example. I thought it was funny, but I do think that when we are able to celebrate like we did this last year in all the new families, mm-hmm. in all the new decisions through baptism, through salvation, one of the things that, I hear more often than I would like to hear is when people get this new life and excitement and there is no one to walk them through it or to help them realize that we live in a world that much of it we don't see. Yeah. We don't have a realization of, other than the revelation of Scripture, that there's a spiritual world and warfare going on around us. Mm-hmm. And so, helping people with that to one, be aware of it. Correct. Helps those young believers, because, man, sometimes when they have this idea of, oh, now I'm following Christ, everything's going to go well. And when it doesn't, it's easy to get disillusioned. Well, God isn't, and we're writing checks for God that, He never, No. And so I think that is such an important thing to talk about this year to help people. And I remember when I was a kid, there was an evangelist, Sam Cathy, this little bitty guy and a little bandy rooster. And one of the things he was like, I'm ready to charge hell with a water pistol. and kind of as I was thinking about this gear up, I'm like, well, thank God that that's not what we're asked to do. Yeah. Yeah. We're not given a water pistol and asked to charge hell. We can be aware that there is a spiritual realm around us, but it's not a dualism. It's not equal forces battling. God's already won the war. And knowing that we have an enemy that wants to destroy us, we have at our, just the resources available to us, God's Spirit. Mm-hmm. And so many things like we're going to be talking about in Ephesians 6 that will help us defensively, offensively. You're right. Yeah. So that we can be prepared, so that we can show up as ambassadors, ambassadors and citizens of the kingdom of God, but also fathers, mm-hmm. mothers,
husbands, wives.
Yeah, husbands, wives, leaders, and just be aware that when we step into those roles that God designed, that's when we're going to face attack more than any other time.
Correct. So 100%.
I love it. So this week you started out talking about drift.
Yeah. And so, just that thought is that you drift and don't even realize it. Mm-hmm. I think the phrase I use is there's typically a fade before the fall. Yeah. And, it's that drifting where you still think things are good. Yeah. And it's, you don't realize.
You don't notice.
You don't realize it's even happened. And, you didn't intentionally wake up and go, I think today I'm going to walk away from my faith, or mm-hmm. today I'm going to step out on my marriage, or, right. But the drift begins to happen in our lives. And as soon as that does, it's like, oh my gosh, where am I at? And I appreciated you at the end of the service yesterday just saying the great thing about drift when it comes to our relationship with Christ is once we repent, it's one step, mm-hmm. right? And it's, there may be some things we've got to clean up.
Right. There's still consequences.
Correct. Correct. But it's not this long walk back to Jesus. It's not I'm nowhere near my hotel and I've got to walk a mile back to find him. No, he's there and he's looking at us and going, just turn around. Just turn around. Let me carry you back, and I'll handle the different things that are there. Yeah. And so,
kind of that frog in the kettle.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
That old illustration. I think Barna is where I first heard it. Yeah. Just a degree at a time.
And frog doesn't even know what's happening. And we're the same way.
Boiled to death. Yeah.
And so it's some recognition about, okay, where have I been compromising? What areas are my biggest temptations? What are my biggest struggles? What if one day I was okay going, nope, not going to do that. That now all of a sudden I find myself over here going, wow, I'm kind of okay with that now. Right. And I don't know where that transition really took place. Don't know where that happened, but it's recognizing those things and going, okay, what can I do to set up some boundaries to help me to escape temptation, right? Because Jesus says, I've always given you a way of escape. And so it's, okay, let me not look for, my blinders of going, oh, I don't see a way of escape. I got to go down this path to turn around and going, God, no, get me out of this.
Yeah.
Let me get away from this situation, and then putting your clothes back on, right? It's like, all right, hold on. What's the truth? What have I believed? What's been a lie that's brought me from here to here? What is the truth? Okay. I know that's true. And maybe, let's be honest, sometimes in our minds we're going, I don't know how that could be true.
Yeah.
Or because we've led with emotions or feelings or culture or, and we're going, well, people don't think that's true. People are over here. And it's like, okay, but no, this is true. God help me understand what truth is.
Yeah.
Show me why, show me how, show me this, because I want to stand for your truth. And,
Well, and that's, when we did studies and sermons on, the Psalms and Proverbs, the idea of the Proverbs are not promises.
Correct.
They are wise sayings that when we follow tend to keep us between the ditches.
Correct.
Right. And so when we live in wisdom and walk in the Spirit, we don't bring stuff on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's a very different, I think when Logan was on the episode, I talked about, I brought up what we've all as in youth ministry experience as leadership of kids saying, well, how far is too far?
Yeah.
And, when I think of the word drift, my mind goes to like the Tokyo drift, drift racing, where you intentionally use tires that have lost all of their tread, all of their traction. And you are sliding into turns, you're kind of your own power, your own timing. You're trying to avoid those rails, but just barely.
Yeah, yeah. How close can I get without
crashing? And the idea of living in wisdom is like living with traction. And I think when we start to compromise, we're driving with bald tires in a sense. And so, I think the last several years we've really focused on being intentional about our walk. And, walking in wisdom, walking in the Spirit doesn't happen by accident. It is an intentional, willful decision, not based on our works and efforts, but still saying, I trust your way.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
I want to follow you. And you said this is the way. It may not make sense to me all the time, but.
Well, it's almost the same thing with a teenager and parents, right? It's like, I don't know why you've set this rule, or I don't know why this is in place, but you're the parent. And if that's the rule, okay. I mean, sometimes we don't ask our kids to agree with us. It's like, I don't care if you agree with me or not, but this is what I need you to do.
Right.
And, in the long run, it's like, okay, we know, been there, done that. We know a little bit more than you do at this point in your life. Now, I know you think at 16, 17, 18, you have it all figured out.
You're the sophomore, the wise fool.
You are the sage of life.
Yeah.
And, but, and it's sometimes that's the way for us as believers. It's like, all right, Lord, you said to do it. I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
And help my trust to grow.
Yeah.
It's like we said in the last sermon in December, it's the way that we grow, the way that we gear up is not by trying harder. It's by trusting more. And so we keep coming back to that thought of going, all right, Lord, do I trust you? Let me just continue to trust you. Let me continue to show you that. And, I don't want to drift. I really don't want to see what can I get away with and still be good and still not crash. But I want to say, how close to you can I get this next year?
Right.
And, and just kind of enjoy who you are, what you're doing. Know that the battles are coming because I'm growing closer to you. And that through this, as James would say, I consider it joy, when I face these trials, because you're producing in me some things that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Right.
And we all have seasons, seasons of trials, seasons of testing that we're going to walk through. And it's like, okay, Lord, I'm hoping that 3 out of the 5, I'm going to be successful in 2026. There may be a couple that I'm struggling with, and sometimes it takes longer than others to learn a lesson or to get there. But I really want this to be a year that I win more than I lose.
Well, and I think part of the secret sauce is learning rhythms.
Yeah,
and creating habits out of rhythms that if you look at Jesus' life. there were times that he had planned to take his disciples to go out and just kind of debrief with them. And the crowds kept following. Yeah. And whereas he needed that rest, I mean, there's one particular where it was like Alexander's awful, terrible, no good day where, he finds out that his cousin John the Baptist was beheaded. He had fed 5,000. I mean, it was just, he calmed the storm. This is a lot in a day period, and he's ready for a rest. And the crowd comes, and he just keeps ministering. And but it was in the daily getting away and times of prayer by himself that we see throughout the Gospels that were like, okay, well, he had those rhythms that allowed him in times of just exhaustion to keep going.
He had something to pull from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we allow the busyness just to drown out, and we don't have those times of rhythm, of discipline, or, the way that the message puts it, I've used it so many times. I just love, he says, come follow me and let me show you the unforced rhythms of grace.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most beautiful sentence, it's like, okay, he lived in these unforced rhythms of grace, of just because he had so much time with the Father,
right? That
he had so much to pull from in those times. And it was like, man, this isn't forced. This is not, it's not a rush. Never got in a hurry, but he's always on time and he's always doing exactly what it was. And so just for us learning, okay, how do I live in your unforced rhythms of grace where I'm not overwhelmed? I'm not, just living from a place of exhaustion, but I'm living from a place of a well that has sprung up inside of me that just has that ability to enjoy the moment and to be present in the moment and to minister what's needed in the moment.
Yeah, that's good. I'm looking forward to the series. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it, the testimonies that are going to come from it. So there are a couple things that we can go ahead and share this year in the gearing up process, in the preparing to be able to deal with the challenges ahead and just living in a way that honors God. One is the grace marriages. This is a year-long, actually they have 7 years of material.
Correct.
It's kind of 7 repeating years, and that repeats kind of the key core concepts around marriage and how to have a healthy, godly marriage. And then also looking at rhythms, important rhythms in marriage. That is more than just a premarital counseling or a postmarital, we're in trouble, we need to go to a counselor. But it's just how do you learn ways that keep that flywheel, that keep things going in a healthy way, even when you have those seasons of challenge.
Correct.
So that'll be, we're doing that once a month.
Yep. First Sunday.
The first Sunday of every month. There's a couple exceptions, but we'll promote all that. And it'll be during the life group hour.
Correct.
Because when we've been racking our brains to think of, okay, what's a good time? People's schedules are insane.
Yeah, there is no time.
Yeah, and if they've got little kids, there's sports, there's carting them everywhere, there's getting them to bed on time, all those issues. So we said, we need to take advantage of a time that they're already committed to, they're already coming. And so what we are doing is just kind of asking our life group leaders, hey, listen, bear with us. We think this is important enough to kind of interrupt the flow or the process once a month. Correct. Now, some classes are saying, hey, can we do this as a whole class? Yeah. And we're like, absolutely. I mean, there is a fee just because of the stuff that you get, the resources that each couple get. Yeah. And we need to say this is for married couples.
Correct.
Because of some of the stuff they discuss on the intimacy, that sort of stuff. But this will be like an hour and 15 minutes each time, and you'll talk about is it 1 or 2 lessons? I can't remember. Is it like a core concept and a rhythm, or is it 2 concepts and 2 rhythms?
I believe it's just one.
Okay. All right. Well, it'll be a lot of material,
but it's still some good content,
and it'll be interactive. It's video based. Jim Hughes is running it,
mm-hmm.
And so there will be some breakout sessions. There will be some things that couples will do when they're at home during the week. There's some journaling stuff, and
it's video driven. So we're watching the Grace Marriage folks have put all this stuff together. And so we'll watch those videos, and then, it'll be discussion based coming out of that. And so it's more of a, what's that called? Facilitator than it is anything else. And, it's funny. I've heard excitement. I talked to several couples even yesterday, and they were like, oh, we've signed up. We can't wait, And then I've had other couples that have come up, and they're like, we're not sure we want to open Pandora's box. Just to be honest, they're like, look, we've kind of gotten to a point where there's just things we don't talk about because we know it's going to cause World War III inside of our home. Yeah. And, we're kind of at the point where we think it'd be better just not to address it.
So what would you say to that couple?
Well, I looked at them and I said, that's one way to live. Right. You just avoid the mines that are somewhere out there. And I said, occasionally you'll forget where one was and you're going to step on it. Right. And when it blows up, you may lose a leg, you may lose an arm, it's one of those things. I said, or you can physically work together and start trying to cut the red wire on this particular mine. And listen, it's going to be tough. Right. For a lot of people thinking through going, okay, give me a weekend, give me a seminar, and let's deal with it once for the year and we'll be done. But you're talking about opening something 12 times over the course of the next year. And it's going to take work, And so I think that's where I don't know that I really want to put this in. But, I said it a couple of weeks ago. God didn't say, hey, I'm going to take this guy and this young lady, and I'm going to bring the two of them together to become one union so that they'll be fine in life. No, he's like, look, man, I'm creating the most beautiful thing in the world and something that I have created and brought together, and I want it to be unbelievable, and so there may be some things that come up that you're going, and you start trying to deal with it and you can't. And so you let it sit for a second. Let's try to deal with it again. Okay, well, next month, hopefully it'll be one that's not as triggering for us, but we know this is going to be an issue. We know this is going to take some time to work on. And I believe that where Satan attacks is marriage. It's the family. And as the family goes, so goes the culture.
Right.
And so if we're trying to change a culture around us right now, then it starts with marriages. And so to me, I think it's worth it. I really do. And I would encourage our families to go, you know what? Let's do some hard work. I don't know this idea that marriage was going to be so simple, when you take two selfish people and put them together and that everything's just going to work out.
Right. Well, and we have from the earliest accounts in Genesis is when they were created as a couple, God saw it was not good for the man to be alone. And so he created a helpmate. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of this terminology of helpmate, infers they're going to need help.
Yeah.
And because life can be hard. And so to have a partner that you guys prop each other up, help each other. And, and a lot of times it tends that when one is struggling, the other is able to help. And we kind of take turns lifting that backpack at times.
Yeah.
And so I gotta believe that and part of the reason we're doing this material is because Jim's daughter and son-in-law have been doing it. Their church have had great feedback, have had great response. And so it's not just here's a hand grenade, you guys go off and talk about it. It is, here's some tools so that we can talk about these potentially explosive things in a safe and healthy way. So some of any good marital counseling is going to be how to fight fair. Mm-hmm. How to take responsibility, how not to just go into what's the natural blame game. Mm-hmm. And well, if you had only, so to say, well, there are just things we don't want, is to assume that they've never heard that argument.
Correct.
And that they're not presenting in such a way that helps equip those couples to bring this stuff up in a way that's not going to just destroy them right out of the gate.
Yeah.
You know, that's not.
I love that. The tools.
Yes.
To be able to,
Right.
you know, let's fold it back in some layers.
Right.
Let's not just go immediately to the heart.
We're not doing brain surgery with an axe.
No.
Yeah.
No. And so I think that's the key is some of us go, these are issues that we need to address, but I don't know how to address it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bring it up without it being something explosive,
Right.
you know? And so I think having the tools to be able to do that, preparing yourself for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then having time, you know, I mean, 4 weeks typically in between sessions to be able to kind of unpack it a little bit. And maybe it's, hey, let's get a night out, just the two of us. We know we're going to be talking about this. Let's prepare ourselves beforehand so we're not explosive.
Right.
You know, here's how I'm prayed up. I want you to be prayed up. And let's see if we can't come up with a solution, you know, to be able to work through this. And
and creating, you know, systems around that, like the dinner, like the breakfast. Where
absolutely.
Let's create these times where we can check in, where we can talk about this stuff. That's been really helpful for April and myself. Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of in a season where we've been pressed out of that at the moment, but we can attest that when we're doing that, it's incredibly helpful. Yeah. And when we're not doing it, we can feel what's missing. Yeah. So,
and creating some rhythms and times where we're not addressing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
We're just enjoying each other.
Sure.
You know, I think both of those are natural. It can't be like, gosh, every time we go to dinner, some big topic we've got to discuss, you know, or we got to.
Right. And so sometimes
let's grab dinner
the
this
meal.
Week. I don't want to grab dinner with you this week.
Sometimes the discussion can be around just celebrating.
Absolutely.
Look how far we've come.
Look what we've done. Yeah. Look how God has worked in this. Yeah.
So it's going to be a great year. We hope that you will join us through all of it, and that you will. So the Grace Marriage, I think it's like $200 for
$200
for the year.
And we do have some people that have offered scholarships.
Okay.
If there are couples that can't afford the full $200, you know, we want them to have some skin in the game,
right? Because
you got to have a little bit of sacrifice to go, hey, we really want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
But we can help on the flip side.
Well, the question is, you know, and not a shame thing, but I mean, how much is your marriage worth to you?
Absolutely.
And so, you know, we were kind of joking early on that $200 is a cost when you compare it to like regular Sunday school literature, which we don't charge for that typically, but it's so much cheaper than a divorce lawyer, right? You know, an hourly,
or even a counseling session.
Yeah,
I mean, nowadays you're looking at $200 to you know, have one session.
So that'll be great. Another, and kind of getting back on track for these are some tools that we are already planning and calendaring for to equip our people is prayer ministry. Mm-hmm. And in the last couple years, any kind of a prayer ministry has been just kind of something that the deacons took on in a, you know, somewhat limited basis in that they were willing to pray with people at the end of the service. Some prayed during the service up in our the prayer room. But I've had some people come to me that they really are burdened with, we want to focus more and more on prayer. And so we're starting something that's going to be a little bit more than that, and just, okay, what are some ways that we can extend that ministry? What are some ways that we can help equip our people to make it where prayer is part of their DNA? Yeah. And what does prayer look like? What does it mean? And so I'm excited about that. We announced that Sunday that if you're interested, we're getting some folks together, getting a team. So that will be a way, because we're looking at, you know, possibly some prayer 24/7 or, you know, 24 hour kind of prayer vigil kind of things where people sign up for times. Because prayer is one of the biggest spiritual, you know, tools that we can use.
It's power source.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
As we're moving forward this next year.
Absolutely.
It has to be bathed in prayer.
So by the time this episode drops, which it drops on Thursday, we will have already had our night of worship and prayer. So this is something we do at the beginning of every semester. It's a way to kind of kick off the semester that we pray for our teachers, our students, the activities in our church, for our staff, for our families, and then we just worship together. And then we typically end the service talking about the different classes, special interest groups that will be starting on Wednesday nights. So this Wednesday, which if you're watching this, it will have already taken place, is the worship. And then the next Wednesday, the 14th of January, all of our regularly scheduled activities will resume. So we'll start back with our Wednesday night meals, and we're excited about that. It'll be the second semester that we've done that. And I'm handing off leadership to Brian Westbrook, and I'll still be helping out, but just kind of taking my hands off of that leadership so the team can. And so that's going to be great to do the Wednesday night meals. Also to do some other things. I want us to do the meal for the volunteer banquet in February and just let them showcase what they're doing. But I will say, and I'll request, we need help. We need more folks on the team so that we can rotate people, so that we can use people's schedules to best meet the needs of what a Wednesday night meal requires.
Correct.
So if that's something,
yeah.
So some of it is work in the kitchen. Some of it is setting up and serving in the fellowship hall. We even have need for somebody to drive a couple of our folks that aren't able to drive. Either they have some, medical conditions or just don't have a vehicle. I mean, something as simple as that, to be able to bring them to the church, take them home would be a huge, it's actually keeping some people from being able to minister because they don't have a ride. So if that's something that you could help with, would be a fantastic help. Yeah. So that's a ministry that we really need help with. And if you would like to learn about kitchen stuff and cooking, and man, we're taking folks at all levels because we just need folks in there and to wash the dishes and stuff afterwards.
We can use anybody.
Yes. Just a willingness to serve, a willingness to help.
And the work is one thing, but it's just the camaraderie. That's what I love about all that.
We have so much fun.
Team, whether it's the kitchen team, there's so much fun in just being together.
Yeah. And, we have a great time. Part of the fun and excitement is that ticking clock.
Yeah.
That we got to get the food out there, and then we got to clean up. Yeah. So it is.
You turn into Gordon Ramsay in that last 5 minutes.
It is Hell's Kitchen. No, I did, because I do like to lead by collaboration. But I've learned in the kitchen, you got to have one person in charge,
one voice,
and just say, "Hey, look, you might have better ways to do this. Let's talk about it after."
Yeah.
But right now,
here's how we're going to do
it. Here's how we're doing it. Let's just boop, boop, boop. And so it was a learning experience for me to do that. But so the activities, we have our children activities, our youth activities. Both of those are going great. Great stuff happening there. Our Wednesday night adult classes, we have kind of our usual suspects. So financial peace, university, grief share, divorce care. We have our craftsman group, which is great. We get guys in there. It doesn't have to be just guys. I mean, it can be women as well. But they come in, and some of them connect. They're going to connect there over going to a life group. That's their life group. Yeah. We have a little devotion. We talk about a tool or technique, and then we get on to different projects that we're doing ministry around the church or, for our folks. But it's equipping them. We have our men's ministry. So they're, JD is leading that. They've got a study they're going to be doing for the men's group. Howard Liverance is going to be teaching on the book of Romans. And so it's pretty impressive. I read through his syllabus of all that he's going to try to cover, and he's a good teacher. And so that's a lot of material to cover, where each week he's focusing on a chapter. And so he's going through the whole book. Hadam El-Sayah is doing kind of a follow-up to one of the classes he's done before, last time he taught, it was called Misreading Scripture Through Western Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it dealt with context and some of the stuff that we miss when we read things at face value. In our culture, we miss out on.
Don't understand it.
Yeah. And so he's going through something. I think we're still working on the title a little bit, but it is based in a book called Understanding Jesus Through Middle Eastern Eyes. And so it's some of the things that Jesus said, his parables, that sort of thing that breathes so much more life and understanding into when we see it through the context that the people that were there would have seen it through. So that's
good.
That's going on. That's going to be a great class as well. And then our women's classes are on Tuesday mornings and Tuesday evenings. So they're going through a study on heaven. So Tuesday mornings, I think they meet at 10 in the morning here on campus, and then Tuesday evenings. Correct. And I'm not exactly sure. All those you can register for.
Mm-hmm. All of it online.
Online. Same thing with Grace Marriage. Online with the website or through the app. They're kind of integrated. And you can sign up for your meals. Yeah. In fact, you need to sign up for your meals.
Please sign up for
by noon on Monday. And what that does is it helps us know how to order for the food so that we have enough without wasting, and to provide the best meal possible. Because we are able to provide great meals.
Food. Yeah.
And still be in the black and cheaper than they could get a meal if they went for fast food.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of what we've been able to do. We just need help with it. But so I think we've covered everything, and you can tell we haven't been together
in a long time,
in a few weeks, because this is a longer episode. But starting a new year, we got a lot coming up that we want to.
It's just exciting.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, the worship center is done.
Done.
Got the big screen up there, and
got the curtains.
And there's even talk about how can we use that in other. Do we have a men's ministry event where we watch the Super Bowl or that kind of thing?
Absolutely.
So I think it does open up different stuff to us.
Some great opportunities.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
Man, let's have a great year. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. 2026 is going to be a fantastic year. We want to thank you for all that you meant to us in 2025. And we look forward to ministering and walking alongside you for 2026 to see all God is going to do in us and through us as a church and as individuals. So thank you so much. We encourage you to share this with others as a way to find out what's going on at PCBC behind the scenes, to hear our heart, and hopefully have a little fun doing it. So, well, we hope that you have a great rest of your day, and God bless. Well, that's it for this episode of On Second Thought. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. If you have a question or thought, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to find out more about your church on the corner, check us out at pcbchurch.org. We'll be back next week with more. So until then, have a great week and God bless.